everyone, it's Jananie and welcome back to my channel. This story ain't over. So today I am coming to you with my February TBR. It has been a month since the year began. We are a month into 2020. I am so proud of all of the reading that I did in January. So my January wrap up will be up very soon, so stay tuned for that. But first I wanted to tell you all the books that I'm going to be reading in February. It is Black History Month this month, so I have a few books related to that, even though we all know that we could be reading diverse books even when it's not that specific month. So please read Pride books when it's not Pride Month, and books by Black authors even when it's not Black History Month, and you know, books by Asian authors even when it's not Asian Heritage Month, like on and on. But anyways, rant over. I'm going to be reading a couple books for Black History Month, and it's also the month of Valentine's Day as well, so I'm feeling in a romancy mood, so I have a few romances here. But first I want to talk about the first book on my TBR, and this video is being kindly sponsored by Inkyard Press, so thank you so much to them. And they are sponsoring this video for one of their newest titles, which came out on January 28th, and that is Don't Read the Comments by Eric Smith. So I am super excited to be talking about this and doing a sponsored video for this because I think it's going to be a great book, and I cannot wait to read it in February. But basically it follows our main character Divya, who is this like online celebrity gamer. So she plays this game called Reclaim the Sun, and because of her fame on this game, she's kind of become an influencer in a type of way. She has this whole following called the Angst Armada, and because of her kind of status in this game, she has been able to kind of secure sponsorships like me today to support her single mother, which I thought was just so interesting and fit the Generation Z vibe of today. And then we also have another main character named Aaron Jericho, and so gaming has been his entire life, his whole life, but his mother really wants him to become a doctor like him, and he's never really had that intention. Instead, in his spare time, he writes games for a local game developer, and he also plays Reclaim the Sun, where he ends up in the situation where he and the famous player called Div, or D1V, which is Divya's screen name, two of them, their game profiles end up on this like planet alone in the game, because this game involves like many thousands of worlds and planets and things. And so they end up in this world alone, and as each of them is kind of dealing with their own personal problems in reality, in their own personal lives, they end up kind of leaning on each other within the game and sort of forming a bond there. But of course we cannot have a game without trolls, and so there's this like legion of trolls that is kind of growing within Reclaim the Sun. They are called the Vox Populi, which is like Latin for like the voice of the people, I think. And so they are this group that kind of rises up in Reclaim the Sun, and they start harassing players, and one of their targets ends up being Divya, and they take their harassment even offline, and it starts to bleed into her life. But obviously she is this awesome gamer, and she is not going to go down without a fight, and so her and Aaron are kind of facing this harassment head on. So I'm really excited to see how this goes. I think it's going to be great, and I'm also just really excited about this book because the main character Divya Sharma is South Asian, so always happy for that rep. And it also just involves games, and if you guys don't know me, I love game books. Like, I absolutely love Warcraft by Marie Lu, so this is kind of like up that alley, so I think it's gonna be awesome. So moving on to the rest of my TBR. So for Black History Month, I thought it would be really smart to pick up Stamped: Racism, Anti-Racism, and You, and this is a kind of young readers remix of another book by Ibrahim X. Kendi. It came out a while ago. It was also called Stamped. It kind of tells the history of kind of racism in America and what Black people have kind of faced over history. And he's taking that book originally by Ibrahim and remixing it for younger people to kind of understand and feel connected to. And I just love Jason Reynolds as a writer as well. So I'm just excited to learn a lot while reading this, and definitely recommend it to the young people in my life as well. I think it's gonna be a great resource in general, and I'm just really excited about that. All right, the next book that I want to read this month is one that I actually had on my January TBR, and I didn't actually get the chance to read it. So I'm deciding to put it on my February TBR because it kind of fits with Black History Month this month, and that is A Phoenix First Must Burn, and it is a collection edited by Patrice Caldwell. So I said this in my January TBR, but it is 16 stories of Black girl magic, which I'm so here for, and they are all sci-fi fantasy kind of inspired, and they are all by Black female authors, and I think this is just gonna be so awesome. And I'm just excited about this because it is a celebration of like Blackness and Black girl magic, so I think it's gonna be amazing. And this cover is just gorgeous. It does come out officially in March. This is a ARC copy, so I will definitely let you guys know my thoughts on it, so you can all pick it up in March. All right, and then the rest of my TBR gets pretty romancy, and I'm just really excited about all of these. So the first one is Somewhere Only We Know by Maureen Gu. This came out I think last year, and I was so excited when I heard about it, but I never got the chance to actually pick it up. But basically it follows our main character Lucky, who is this like huge K-pop star, and she ends up coming to America for the first time to be on the Later Tonight show and kind of debut her new song. But the night before her kind of big debut on the show, she ends up running out to get a hamburger late at night from her hotel, and she ends up running into this boy named Jack, who is a tabloid writer, and he's kind of coming to the hotel to grab a scoop, but he ends up running into Lucky, but he doesn't actually know who Lucky is. He doesn't really follow K-pop, so he doesn't know how famous she is, and Lucky is just kind of happy to revel in the anonymity, and the two of them kind of get swept up in this kind of whirlwind sort of romance, and it takes place over a short amount of time, I believe, and I'm honestly just excited about the whole like K-pop aspect of this, so I think it's gonna be awesome. Let me know if you have read it. I would love to hear your thoughts, but yeah, I can't wait to pick this up. It's just look at this, look at these two Asian kids just being adorable. Like, I love the representation as well, so cannot wait. And then the next book that I have here is There's Something About Sweetie by Sandhya Menon. So this was Sandhya Menon's new book from last year, and I didn't get the chance to pick it up, and I recently got it from Book Outlet, so I'm super excited to be reading it now. But basically it's a companion to When Dimple Met Rishi, and it follows Rishi's brother, and he has just been broken up with by his girlfriend, and so he ends up in this deal with his parents where they set him up with this Indian girl, and he has to agree to take her out on like, you know, Indian dates. So he ends up taking her to like the temple, apparently, like that's one of the dates, and he basically has to just like give it a chance. And then the girl that he ends up getting set up with is Sweetie. So Sweetie is a plus size Indian girl, and she's always kind of been hearing her family and her mother specifically kind of tell her to lose weight, and so she is like done with that negative energy, and so she kicks off what she calls the Sassy Sweetie Project, where she'll let the world know what she's really made of. And this is just kind of like a loving yourself story, and I am just so excited about it. And it also has a cute little romance and a holy festival as well, so I'm super excited about that. And just based off of how much I liked When Dimple Met Rishi, I think this one's gonna be equally awesome. And then the last romancy book that I have for this month is Always Never Yours by Emily Wiverly and Austin Sigmund Broca. So this is a book by like two people. It's a guy and a girl, and they're actually like engaged now, like the authors, which I thought was so interesting. But this is their, you know, collaboration book that they debuted with, and it basically follows this girl who, whenever she dates a guy, he ends up falling for someone else, and so she's always dealing with kind of never being the one that they want to be with. But within the book, she ends up joining a theater production, and although she only wants to be like a side character, she ends up getting cast as Juliet, the lead role, and she ends up forming this crush on this cute stagehand. But in the midst of that, she ends up meeting this other guy named Owen, who is this aspiring playwright, and she agrees to help him with his plays if he agrees to help her kind of get the attention of that cute stagehand. But the two of them kind of start to form feelings for each other, but the main character doesn't know if he's gonna just be another one of these scenarios where he ends up falling for someone else. So I'm really excited to see how this goes. I've heard pretty good things about it, so I just think it's gonna be cute, and I also just think the fact that it's by two authors is interesting, so excited about that. And then the last book that I want to read this month is The Guinevere Deception by Kirsten White. I had this on my wish list for a while, and then it came in the Owl Crate box of last month, and this is the Owl Crate exclusive cover. The original cover is kind of like more purplish, but this is basically an Arthurian legend retelling, and it follows Guinevere. Like, it takes her perspective, and it involves a lot of magic, and that's about all I needed to convince me to read this. So yeah, I love Arthurian legend retellings, so I know I'm gonna love this, and I just cannot wait to read it. But those are basically all the books that I wanted to read this month. I might participate in a readathon or two, but I will put up a separate TBR for those later on, namely probably the contemporary-a-thon, but I haven't decided for sure if I'll be able to participate, but hopefully I can. And then side note, I am hoping to also participate in Lala's book club this month. So it's called the Literally Dead book club, and the book of the month for February is The Other People by CJ Tudor. It's a thriller, murder mystery. It is a thriller book club. I don't usually read thrillers, so I'm hoping to join in to kind of expand my reading of it, so I'm looking forward to reading this month. But those are all of the books that I want to read this month. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and once again, this video was sponsored by Ink Yard Press, so thank you so much to them, and I definitely recommend going and picking up Don't Read the Comments. It seems like it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm just so excited that it is a South Asian main lead, and I can't wait to read it, and I'll let you guys know my thoughts on it at the end of the month in my wrap up. And as always, please leave your comments down below if you are interested in any of the books that I talked about, or if you know anything about the ones I talked about. out. Please let me know your thoughts so I know what to prioritize for my TBR this month. But if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you enjoy my content, please subscribe. I will see you in my next video, and until then, please remember that this story ain't over. Bye!